What's happening, everybody? Welcome back to Mental Groove. Yeah, it's been a minute. But we are back, locked in and ready for another Kevin Samuels classic. This one right here might shake the room. Let's get into it.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Awesome. So excited. I'm actually calling in from a married woman perspective. When I meet single women or even the single ladies that surround me that I'm associated with.
Okay.
Normally, with these women, they do. One thing I agree with Derek Jackson is that they are financially savvy. They do have high paying jobs, but they have no time for anyone. It's about them and that's it. It's like, oh no, honey, he didn't make enough money. I can't talk to him. Or he looks like this, he looks like that. They have expectations of a 20-year-old, but they don't want to put in the work.
Okay.
So that's one thing I've noticed is that, yes, they come with a lot, but, they've been through so many relationships by then. It's a negative mindset. It's a negative attitude. And I'm like, give this man time. No. Girl, we went out on a date. And I just didn't like the way he talked. Mm-hmm. And I'm like, girlfriend, you don't have a man. It's right. What are you expecting? It's like they want this, $150,000+ man. But like you said before, Kevin, these men are married.
Right.
They've already married their women by 33, 35. Well, they don't want you if they're making 150 plus.
And this is something that Rebecca Lynn Pope chimed in on. And I'm approaching this, I'm not a dating coach, but this has a lot to do with the image of men and women. Because
so true.
He was actually tearing down men's image, telling women, Generation X, that men in your generation ain't shit. And so when I hear a married woman say that, these women who are accomplished and, let's take everything you had to say, why should they slow down and give a man any time if they already think these men ain't shit?
Exactly. I have a sister-in-law where, we're happy, she didn't get married until she was 38. Mm-hmm. But this, man had already been married before. But one thing she did that disturbed me, she was like, I make more money than him. And, she was tearing him down. And I was like, you know what? You don't sound good by tearing this man down, but you married him. So it's like they tear them down, but I'm thinking maybe she just finally broke down and just realized I'm not going to have anybody and accepted it. But he was a good man, so I'm not for women marrying low, but it's like, just because you make 10,000 more, what does that mean?
Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
She married him, but then she downed him because he didn't make enough.
Yes.
Again, and this is where we got to get into the people who are in successful marriages and relationships and women talking to each other. You judge men based on character. Again, Rebecca Lynn Pope said she got out of the business when she realized a lot of her female matchmaking clients had this list.
Yes.
She said they would not even accept a Carrie Pope.
Here the Godfather is just you.
When she sat back and said, now, wait a minute, boo, you wouldn't even accept my husband. And I make more than you and I'm better looking than you.
Mm-hmm.
So how do you ladies have that conversation with one another? Because honestly, coming from men, if it's not coming from men like Derek, it honestly falls on deaf ears for most. That's my opinion. I don't think many women hear stuff coming from us. I think they hear more coming from them. So how do you ladies have that conversation with one another?
Well, I don't want men to think that their word doesn't mean anything, because one thing my husband tell me all the time, he say, look, men of power with money, he said, you may love all of that, but you better be ready what comes with all of that. He said he's not probably going to be the most faithful. He's going to have plenty of women on the side. So never put down a man that works hard with his hands, because that's the one that's going to take care of you and love you. No, he may not make as much money as you, but he said it's all about how that man treats you. He said, if my daughter, and I hate that he said this, I looked at him crazy. He was like, I'd rather my daughter be a lesbian than to be with a no good man and to be with him because he make good money. I'm like, no, don't say that. But I mean, I got what he was saying, but it's like some women, they just have this fantasy.
But see, your husband speaking to you already has credibility with you.
Exactly.
I'm saying about how do women How do women like yourself speak to women like your friend so they can actually
Yeah,
become better?
yeah,
Because what
for
I'm
sure.
saying is, when you're already in a position to be able to listen to men, then you're in a position to be able to learn. You're talking about women who already don't think that highly, and those are the conversations I think would be help women out more than these other ones. How do y'all do that?
Right. And I'll say this really quick and get off your line, Kevin. I would say one thing for sure. It's something where even with my sister-in-law, I really had to have a woman-to-woman conversation with her because I let her know you are more masculine than your husband.
Okay.
You are running around here saying you make more money than him, but here it is, you're pregnant by him. So you look silly.
Mm-hmm.
And then number two, they're masculine, overconfident. There's nothing wrong with being confident, but I'm like, how do you think you're going to connect with the man if you think you're stronger than him? And if you are, then that's your fault. You picked the wrong man. So I'm like, you might want to pause when you're running around. It's not a good look for women to run around talking about their husbands, boyfriends, whoever, because women are not going to respect them and they're going to talk about you behind your back. So it's like you want to be careful how you're speaking because it doesn't look good on you either because you picked them.
Right. Okay. Appreciate you calling in and giving did you mind sharing your first name? Because it just says iPhone. What was your name?
Oh, it's Ebony Malone.
Thank you, Ebony. Appreciate it. All right. Okay. See, and what I notice is that women who are already under a man or think highly of men are much easier to accept these kind of messages. In my profession, I've always been a white collar guy since my 20s. And I know how women in these white collar spaces move. You know, and funny thing is, a lot of sisters will say, it's hard to turn on and off. But I don't believe that because I see them turning on and off with people who aren't black. I see sisters in these places with men who are higher than them get into that feminine role real quick. I personally think it comes down to how you view men. How do you view men? And then conversely, how do you view women? This whole program is how are Generation X women viewed? I'm going to tackle the men and the sons, and I'm going to tackle the men and the image of the men and the sons they produce in a different broadcast. But as you can see, we've had almost 800 people in here, and I know in no small part because Derek Jackson's name is in it. This is an important conversation, though, because Derek's married. Derek is married, ladies. Derek is married. You don't have to like what I'm saying. Derek is married. Obsidian was in a relationship. The previous women that called, they're in relationships. We're the single women who are out here in this mix. And what are you trying to do?
She's surrounded by women who are financially comfortable, but the success has them twisted. Everything is about them. They've been through multiple relationships, have sky-high expectations, but refuse to put in any real work. They nitpick men over tiny issues, demand a guy making $150,000 plus while ignoring the fact those men are already taken. Honestly, she's right. It is silly to brag about making more than your husband when you still chose him and had his children. That exposes the truth women don't want to admit. You can't call a man unworthy after you built a family with him. Kevin's point was simple. If you're in a place where you can listen to a man, you're in a place where you can learn. Women need to stop sitting in circles judging marriages they couldn't maintain themselves. Ego kills more relationships than money ever has.